Good morning, girls. Let us continue with our new topic, handling errors and exception with JSP page. Exception handling in JSP is a process of handling exception condition that might occur in your application. The exception refer to the error which occurred at runtime. As we have seen before that the Java we can handle exception very easily through the exception object. In JSP, exception is an implicit object with a page scope. Exception handling in JSP is much easier than Java technology. Exception handling, although JSP technology also uses the same exception class object. In JSP exception, it is an implicit object is available with page scope. It is an instance of java.lang.throwable class. As you know that throwable class is the super class of all exception and error classes in the Java. It is quite obvious that you don't want to show error stack trace to the person surfing your website. You cannot prevent all errors in your application, but you can at least give a user friendlier error response page. Exception can be handled in a scriptlet in the same way as into Java by using the try catch block. Here let me show you the ways to perform exception handling in JSP. JSP provides two different ways. Number one is using isErrorPage and ErrorPage attribute of page directive, and second is using ErrorPage tag in deployment descriptor. Here we will go with the first way as we are running our JSP unit. So we'll see the example of the first technique only. Here you can see the example of isErrorPage and ErrorPage attribute. IsErrorPage attribute in page directive officially appoint a JSP page as an error page. Here isErrorPage attribute we can set for declaring the current page as a error page in JSP. See, here you can see the one C1 HTML page. Before HTML tag begins, you can see the line page is error page equals to we have set a value true. This attribute officially designate this page as an error page, right? Now this page will be considered as your error page. In case of if error arise, this page will be executed. Error page attribute in a page directive tells the web container that if an exception occur in this page, forward the request to an error page. Let me explain you through the example. Here the name of page is sum.jsp. This is our normal JSP page. You can see the page directive. Here we have set one attribute error page equals to error.jsp. This tells the web container that if some exception occurs in this page, forward your request to the error.jsp. Here we have done the division problem, right? We are trying to divide 10 by 0. This will create an error and we will be redirected to the error.jsp page. Let me show you one live example in NetBeans IDE. For that, open your NetBeans IDE. Here I have created one program with name prg_14 error, right? And I told you that you have to create one simple JSP page that we always create inside the web page folder. Okay, so here it is error.jsp. One index.html I have created. In our document here we have taken a static value. Instead of that, we will ask for the values to the user. So in our actual example, I have created one page with name index.html. Here I have provided two text boxes for two different numbers. Okay, here the property of input box is text and fno, and the second text box having a property text and sno, means second number, for entering a second number. Okay, on submit click button, this will move our pointer on error handler.jsp. Let us see the coding of error handler.jsp page. In the error handler.jsp page, forget the first line, see the line number 2, HTML tag begin, body tag begin, and here I have declared two integer numbers, f number and s number. Then fno equals to integer dot parse integer and request dot get parameter fno. As all of you know that why I have taken integer dot parse integer, whatever you get through the text box, that will be in the string format, so it is compulsory to convert that number into its numeric value, right? For that I have taken integer dot parse integer class. Similarly, for the second number, I have once again taken integer dot parse integer to convert its equal numeric value that will be stored in SNO. Now I am dividing first number with second number. The result will be stored in a third variable name div, right? And on line number 9, I am going to print that value with the help of this. Okay, now here I have given one link which will transfer us on index.html in case of correct answer, and if this will generate an error, in that case we will be redirected to the error.jsp page. As you can see, I have given one directive on the first line, that is error page equals to error.jsp. Now let us move to the error.jsp. This is again a simple JSP page. Okay, here you have to mention with a page directive, you have to set one attribute, that is error page equals to true, with a page directive in the beginning of this page, right? I repeat, if you want to declare this page as an error page, for that you have to set one attribute with name is error page with page directive, right? So here the value of error page is true. Okay, now here what you want to do is, we want to keep the error message in red color, that's why I have set the font color red, and whatever the exception generated by the previous page error handler, that will be printed over here. That is possible with the help of exception object, which is an implicit object of JSP. As we have already discussed about the implicit objects, one of the object is exception, that you can print over here, and then you can redirect your control on the index.html page for re-entering a number. Okay, fine, let us execute this program. As you can see, this page is asking for entering the two numbers. Our first number is 8, okay, and the second number is 2, and click on submit button. Now we will be redirect on error handler page. Here it is, error handler.jsp, and division is 4. Now, as I told you that I have given one link which will redirect us on the index.jsp, right? Click on back. Now enter one wrong number or enter some string in this text box. For example, I am entering ABC and one number. This is an error, right? We cannot divide any string with any number, so this will generate an error. This I am doing intentionally. As you can see, we are on the error page, right? Whatever error will be generated by the previous page, that will be shown on your error page through the exception inbuilt object. Here you can see, and here as an output we got an error, right? And then one more thing we have done is the link for the index.html to move back. Okay, click on please enter numbers. Now enter 12 and second number 0 and click on submit. As you can see, the error arise once again, the division by 0 which is not possible, and we are on error.jsp. Go back to first page, that is index.jsp. Enter 13 by -2. The division is possible now. Click on submit button. As you can see, division is -6, right? So in this way you can define an error page. This is an example of error page. The second way you can define an error page in your JSP program using deployment descriptor. You can also declare error page in the DD for the entire web application using error page tag in deployment descriptor file. You can even configure different error pages for different exception types. Okay, here you can see how you can define a tag, error page tag, in your deployment descriptor. Error page, suppose there is a chance of java.lang.throwable error. In that case, this page will be displayed error.jsp. As you can see, we have set the name of error file. The second, declaring an error page for more detailed exception, for example arithmetic exception, you can define like this: error page, then exception type is java.lang.arithmetic exception, and again I want to execute the same page, error.jsp. Declaring an error page based on HTTP status code, for that you can take error page tag, then inside it you can enclose error code 404, right? If you don't want to specify the exception type, you can even take error code also, and then you can specify the name of page that you want to execute in case if error arise. So this is all about error handling in JSP. Now let us move on the next topic, that is JSP and JDBC. In this topic we will discuss how to access database with JSP. Here we are assuming that you have a good knowledge or understanding of how JDBC application works, right? This is not only assumption, as we have already studied how to do the JDBC, how to deal with JDBC in our first unit, so we'll be able to do the connection of JDBC with JSP also. Before starting with database access through a JSP, make sure you have a proper JDBC environment set up along with a database, which is already done by us in our first unit, right? So let us begin with the example only, how to create a TSN, and that everything we are not covering over here, as all of you are aware of all that things, right? As we have already done in our first unit as well as in the second unit with Servlet also, and this is our third time, so I'm not taking that session, not covering that points over here. Let us begin with the connection file. even I am not showing that content over here, directly switch to NetBeans IDE. Here I have already made a one project with name prg underscore 13 underscore JSP JDBC. Go to your web pages. Here I have defined one connection.jsp, right? You have to just simply create one JSP page, nothing else. But whatever you have done in your first unit, that we will do over here, that we will cover in scriptlet text, right? You can see that class.forename method I have used, and sun.jdbc odbc jdbc driver, and then connection equals to driver manager dot get connection. Okay, now jdbc odbc my dsn. From this line you can identify that we are going to do the connection with access database. You have to create my dsn for access connectivity, right? Connection is declared as a public variable, as you can see over here, as we want to use this variable in some other pages also. So I have made this variable public connection con, right? Then we have defined the driver name using class dot for name method. Then connection equals to driver manager dot get connection. With the help of this we will do all the interaction with database. Okay, that's it. This is the content of connection.jsp. Here don't forget to import java.sql package, as all of you know that SQL package is required for doing a connection with any type of database, right? So here I have imported java.sql. Now next task is to provide two text boxes for entering a record, right? So for that, create one HTML page with name add record.html inside the same folder, that is inside the webinf folder. Okay, by right clicking on webinf, click on new and then take HTML page. Here give the name add record.html. okay, so here I have already created a one page with name add record.html. You can see the content of this page. Here simply I have provided two text boxes, one for entering an ID and second for entering a name of employee. Okay, as we are going to enter two fields only, ID and name, that's it. Then we need one submit button also. For that I have set input type equals to submit and value is click. The action will be performed, that is insert.jsp. So let us see what is the content of insert.jsp. Here I have included connection.jsp, as we want to do the connection with the database. For that we need an object of connection class that we have already created in our connection.jsp file, right? As you have already done in your PHP subject. So you can very easily understand this thing. Then here you can import a package. It is not required as it is already imported in connection.jsp. Now body tag begin. Here integer.parseInteger request.get parameter id. Id is a field or text box defined in our HTML page. Here you can see, right? Whatever value entered by user in this text box will be available over here, and that will be converted into its equal numeric value with the help of integer.parseInteger method. Okay, that value will be assigned to the variable name id. Then next is request.get parameter name, whatever value entered in this text box that we want over here in our insert page, right? Again, that we can do with the help of request.get parameter method. Now string s is defined for storing a query, right? Now we want to insert these two values in TBL1, which is defined in our access database. As all of you know, the use of prepare statement class. Here I have done 2 question marks. Okay, by using setter method we will pass the values for both these question marks one by one. As you can see, prepare statement PST, this is an object of prepare statement class, will pass the query in prepare statement method. Here you can see, right? Then pst.set integer 1 is an index number of this question mark, and here we want to pass the value of this variable id. Now pst.set string 2 nm to index number of second question mark. On this position we want to pass the value of whatever came in this variable nm, right? Now integer n pst.execute update, this will execute a query. Now the record will be inserted through this portion only. Now we want to display all the details on our same page. That we can do with the help of fetching the record from the TBL1. Let us see what is included in detail1.jsp. Again we need one JSP page that you have to create in the same folder. Here it is, detail1.jsp. Look at the pointer. Okay, here I have created two objects of result set class and statement class, right? RS and ST. Then connection.create statement. Here no need to declare this object one more time, as all of you know that it is already declared in connection.jsp, and we are going to include this file in insert.jsp. so ultimately we will get the connection object defined in insert.jsp. okay, so it is right now it is showing an error, cannot find a symbol, as we have not imported the package, this one java.sql, right? That's why it is showing an error. So avoid it. You have to just define this page as it is. Okay, now go back to insert.jsp. If you see this code in continuous manner, you will come to know that everything you have already studied in your first unit. I have just copied that code from the first unit and put or paste over here. The things are, I have covered everything in scriptlet text, right? Wherever required I did the scriptlet tag, and then the package import, that also covered with page directive tag. Okay, and nothing new other than this one. I have split the code connection.jsp, which is required for deleting a record, adding a record, or if you want to just display the record. For that, everywhere you need a connection.jsp. so I made it common for all, right? You can just include this file everywhere wherever required. Suppose I want to just run the detail.jsp, I want to run this file only, so here you can just import this one, you can just include this file. Okay, and you'll be able to see all the records on your screen. Fine. So wherever the connection is required, you have to just include this file, nothing else, as we have done in PHP file. Okay, let us run this program. From the add record.html we will begin. For that, right click on this file and click on run file. So this is asking for an ID and a name. ID will enter 19 as an ID, and here I am entering a one letter UUU. Click and then click on this button. This will move us on insert.jsp. As you can see, the record is inserted as well as it is also shown on the browser. Look at the last record, 19, right? So new thing is, just I have splitted all this unnecessary code in a separate file and then added into our current file. Even you can do everything in a single page, but if you follow this way, it is better for you. Now here in this example, I have just inserted a record, nothing else. I have not done delete process, that you can do it yourself, right? Even update, that also you can do it yourself. So keep on practicing of this also. This is important for practical exams. So note down this program properly in your journal, right? Here our topic is over, JDBC connection. Fine. Next is Java Bean. A Java Bean is a Java class that should follow following convention. It should have a no argument constructor. It should be serializable. It should provide a method to set and get the values of the properties known as getter and setter method. Now why to use a Java Bean in JSP? According to Java white paper, it is reusable software component. Okay, a bean encapsulates many objects into one object, so we can access this object from multiple places. Moreover, it provides the easy maintenance. Okay, a Java Bean is a special constructed Java class written in the Java and coded according to the Java Bean API specification. The unique characteristic that differentiate a Java Bean from other simple Java classes are: it should have a no argument constructor, it should be serializable, and it should provide a method to set and get the values of the properties known as getter and setter method. A Java Bean is reusable software component that can be manipulated visually in an application builder tool. Here you can see the simple example of Java Bean class. Employee.java is defined. This is our Java class, very simple Java class. Again I will show you through the example. Okay, here you can set getter and setter method for this class, and as we have seen the property, it should be serializable. So here this class will implement the java.io.serializable. Okay, there are two variables are defined, ID and name, both are private. Then as I told you that it has one empty constructor. Okay, nothing is defined inside it. Now setter and getter method. Set ID, integer ID, this dot ID equals to ID. Whatever you set through your other Java class, that will be passed over here, and whatever parameter value will come over here, that we want to assign in a local variable, right? The name of both the variables, parameter name and local variable name, both are same. So don't get confused. Here ID is a name of parameter that will come from your main.java file, and this .id means we are talking about the local variable which is declared in employee.java class, right? Now getter method, with the help of getter method you can return the same value. For name variable, again setter method, set name, string name. Here again this is a parameter, and whatever value come in this parameter that we want to assign in a local variable with the same name. This dot name means we are talking about the local variable. Okay. Getter method for getter method for this variable string get name, return name. Here I want to specify some properties of getter and setter methods. As you can see that get property name method, here we are talking about get id, get name. Okay. id and name, these are two variables of employee.java, and get id and get name, this is for getting the value of this variable. Let me discuss about the property of this methods. Here for example, if property name is id, your method name would be the get id, right, to read that property. As you can see in this example, our property name is name, then method name is get name. This method is called accessor, as we can access the value of this properties, right? And the return type of this method must be data type of attribute, because it will return a value of attribute. As you can see, the name is declared as string, so here the return data type of this method is also string. Notice for the id also, id property is declared as integer, so here get id method will return an integer value, right? I repeat, return type of this method must be data type of your attribute or parameter type, because it will return a value of that attribute. No parameterized method, this method is no parameterized method. As you can see, there is no parameter for get id method as well as for get name method. Okay, now let us discuss about set property name. Here for example, if property name is id, then the method name is set id. Notice for the second property name, the method name is set name. Okay, this method is called mutator. Return type of this method must be void, because it is used to set the value of that property. Okay, as you can see over here, void and void. It is single parameterized method having a type of attribute. The data type of this attribute is string. The parameter type is also string. For id you can notice the same thing. The data type of id is integer, and the parameter data type is also an integer. Okay, so these are the property of getter and setter method. Now how to access the Java Bean class? To access the Java Bean class, we should use getter and setter method. Here create one object of employee class. As you can see, E is an object of employee class. Then you can call the setter method for setting a value, e.setName. Here I want to set a value, right? e.setName. This will set the value for the object, and using system.out.println e.getName, with the help of getter method you can get the value back. Okay, go to source package. Here you can create your main.java file and employee.java. In employee.java file you can set a setter method and getter method for both the variables. Okay, the class employee will implement the java.io.serializable. As you can see the code, this is our constructor, empty constructor, nothing is defined for this. Setter method for id, getter method for id. setter method for name and getter method for name. You can insert this code in an easy way by right clicking on it, insert code, go to add property. You can set the name of property from here, for example okay, and value also you can set from here. You can set the data type as well, string, and make it private. I want to set getter and setter method. Okay, and click on OK. As you can see, getter method and setter method both are defined by itself. Let me show you one more time. Right click on your coding area, go to insert code, choose an add property, provide the name in a text box. Okay, you can set the value even, but here I don't want to set the value right now. Set the data type of this field, whatever you want. All the data types are available in drop down list. I have selected string. Now I want to declare this variable as a private variable for this class, and I want to generate a getter and setter method both for this variable. So by selecting this option button and then click on OK, you will get getter and setter method for this property. Okay, set address and get address. Here these methods are fine. Now let us move to the main.java. Public class main, public static void main method. This is our Java class, so you will get a public static void main method over here. Create an object of employee class and call the setter method for setting a new value, and to get it back you can take help of getter method. Similarly, for setting the value of id you can call set id method, and for getting it back you can use getter method. Let us run this program. As you can see, output is, you can see the name and value of both the parameters. Fine. So it is very easy to use Java Bean in Java code. The same thing you can use with JSP also, that we will discuss in the next session. Till then, take care and thank you.